now available in paperback and e-readers. Spellbound, a darker shade of black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. Some neighborhoods are ghettos, and some parts of cyberspace are ghettos. And what makes a ghetto is not the place that people live, it is the perception of the individuals who live there. And when it comes down to many black males out here, they have turned the social media platforms they participate into virtual ghettos, just like the neighborhoods they live in. And the reason why we have a virtual ghetto on places like Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube and other social media platforms is due to the dysfunctional perception that many of these black males have about themselves and those perceptions they have about cyberspace. Because the internet is the greatest tool invented ever since the wheel or the discovery of fire. Unfortunately, the internet in the hands of dysfunctional black males is not being used to build and improve the quality of life in black communities. It is being used to create a virtual ghetto filled with all sorts of displays of ignorance and displays of the most dysfunctional behavior known to man. And what's really sad is that many of these black males, they sit there and believe that this is something that is positive, but in actuality it's something that shows how deeply dysfunctional many of these black males are. Because many of these white and non-black men and women out here, they see this World Wide Web as one of the greatest tools ever invented, and they are using that tool to go out here and build businesses on platforms like YouTube and Amazon and eBay to build billion-dollar and million-dollar businesses on those platforms. And they are moving out of poverty into either the middle class or a working class that is building wealth and building wealth that will be passed on to the next generation. Meanwhile, many of these black males and even some of these black females online, they are not building a online community that allows them to build wealth. What they are building is a ghetto where people act just as dysfunctional and out of control as the people who live in neighborhoods like the South Bronx. And this virtual ghetto is a place where people just tear each other down, and they tear down everything around them. Just as someone goes out and builds a platform on one of these social media sites, you get one of these jealous black males out here who wants to tear down that other black man and destroy everything he has by going on some sort of campaign to malign that person by attacking them online, or going out of their way to so-called dox someone or spread rumors and gossip about that person. And what's troubling about that is that this individual, being given one of the greatest tools that a man could have in the 21st century, squanders that tool and uses it just to destroy another black person. And they go out of their way to actually take money to spend resources to go dig up dirt on another individual, showing us all how they don't value time and they don't value money. And those tangibles and intangibles have extremely high value, because time is something you can't get back in your life, and these black males would rather spend their time, hours a day, going out of their way to try to dig up dirt to destroy another black man on a online media site, and they would spend their money looking for documents to find on that individual, showing us all that their hatred of another black man is more than their love for themselves. Because when you take money and resources and time and squander them like that, it shows that this individual really, his development is something is wrong with it, because money and time, again, are things that are important. Time, again, is an intangible you can't get back. And money is something that once you have spent it on something, you need to either spend it on taking care of yourself or investing it in yourself. And your black male, he would rather spend his money destroying somebody else than trying to lift himself out of poverty. Because most people, they see this World Wide Web as a great tool, and they realize, again, time is precious and you can't get it back. So they go online either to go look for a job, like I did when I was going to the library, and I would walk 9 blocks to get to that library when I was living in my other place. I would walk 9 blocks to that library, whether it be snowing, raining, or even the hottest summer days, because I wanted to get a full-time job and I wanted to use that tool to go look for a job. And while I was doing that, I was trying to sell the books of the SJS Direct imprint by promoting them on social media, and I was uploading YouTube videos. So I was trying to use these tools to move myself ahead, but sadly, too many black males, they don't see the internet as a tool that a man uses to build himself up and move himself forward. No, they see the internet as a place to participate in junior high school behavior, like spreading rumors, participating in gossip, or escalating rumors, and gossip into dramas where they go out of their way to have these back and forths with each other in response videos, or they go out of their way to have 3, 4, 5, even 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, even 13-hour live streams where they talk about another black man, or they talk about their favorite topic, which is talking about how bad black women are. And how constructive is it for someone to sit there and talk about how bad black women are for close to 13 hours a day? I mean, I want you to think about that, because when I think about 24 hours in a day, I'm thinking about doing things like promoting my books or making a video that will help somebody, like some of my videos on manhood or trying to employment or black fantasy or science fiction. I would rather use my time constructively to make a video to help someone else. But many of your black males, all they want to do is make videos about how bad black women are, participate in live streams that almost take half a day talking about how bad black women are, or they want to sit there and talk about another black man and how bad he is. And when you look at that behavior is just not constructive at all, because it's not putting any money in the pockets of these individuals, because many times these videos and live streams don't get monetized, and it doesn't really help anybody move themselves forward, because you're talking about the same topics over and over again. And the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. And talking about how bad black women are and talking bad about other men and making back and forth response videos over and over again with the same individuals for 6 months, 7 months, a year, 2 years, and I've heard even 5 to 10 years. How constructive is that? I mean, it's a complete waste of resources, and it shows how completely arrested the development of many of these black males and these black females are by taking this great invention known as the internet, and instead of them building a virtual community that could improve the quality of life for themselves and brothers and sisters out here, what they do is make a virtual ghetto where everything is in ruins and all people are doing is going back and forth with each other or making personal attacks on each other or trying to destroy everything around them. And that virtual ghetto that I'm seeing being made online, it's a place that has gone nowhere, because in the 10 years that YouTube has been on and the 10 years over that social media has been out here, black people have had an opportunity to use social media to build themselves up, advance themselves, and establish a voice for a black agenda that will move the entire race forward. But instead of us going out here to create that agenda, what we have is a virtual ghetto where people participate in the same backbiting, backstabbing, and dysfunctional behaviors that have turned our neighborhoods into cesspools where all of these other people from these other races are getting rich, while black people still continue to remain in poverty. And what that says is that there's something wrong with the mind of many of these black males especially, and these black females out here who are on social media and participate in this dysfunctional behavior, because their mindset is leading to what is being reflected on these platforms. Because all of what they want to do is turn all of the black spaces into this big minstrel show where all they participate is in the same juvenile behaviors that they participated in junior high school and high school, showing us all how arrested again their development is and how they have a mental perception of the world from the perspective of up about a 12-year-old to a 16-year-old, and how they are not ready to go out here and take this great tool and use it the way a grown man or a grown woman would. Because a grown man or a grown woman, they are going to take this great tool of the internet, one of the greatest inventions since the wheel and the discovery of fire, and they're going to use that tool to build themselves up. Because some of these black males, they sit there and they talk about, oh, what's the solution? That solution for building yourself up is right here on all of these platforms. I mean, you could get monetization on YouTube. It's a challenge to get it, but you can get it. You can go out here and write books on platforms like Amazon's KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, Smashwords, the Google Play Store, all sorts of eBay. There's all sorts of opportunities out here for black people to build themselves up. There's podcasting, but most of these black males online, again, they don't want to capitalize on, the opportunity that is presented to them. Instead of them stepping up to the plate to become men, they want to still continue participating in all of this juvenile drama and participate in all of this junior high school behavior, like spreading rumors on somebody else online, spreading gossip about someone online, or escalating that gossip and rumors or some opinion that they saw online that they disagree with into some sort of drama where they can try to scavenge some views as related to a so-called YouTube beef, or they can scavenge some sort of post, because these people, they don't have much talent and they don't have much confidence out here to work out and develop their talents. So what they do is they turn our internet into a ghetto, and it turns it into a place most black people look at it and they just shake their heads at. Because when you look at the black sector of social media, in many cases, it's an embarrassing place to be. Yes, there are bright spots in black social media, but it's on the other side. And that side with comics, science fiction, fantasy, the goth subculture, many of those black families out here, I believe many people on that side, they are getting tired of this juvenile drama representing the main image of black people. And I myself, I'm getting tired of seeing this juvenile drama being represented as the standard for black behavior, because it's an embarrassment to see people like grown 40, 50, and even 60-year-old men participating in juvenile drama from junior high school. Meanwhile, I'm seeing millennials who are in their 20s and their 30s. They're sitting there talking about building businesses, and they're talking about going out here and using this tool the way it's supposed to be used. And it really, again, it really disgusts me to see grown men who are still participating in this type of behavior they should have outgrown years ago. And these people just it's embarrassing to see them turn these online platforms into a virtual ghetto, a ghetto that reflects the neighborhoods that many of these black men and black women came from, especially these black men, because your black men should know better than to behave like this. I mean, to see college-educated, so-called professional black men who supposedly know better participate in behaviors like this, that's truly an embarrassment to our race, because you're supposed to be a reflection of what the best and brightest are, but I don't see any best and brightest when it comes down to many black people online, and all I see, again, is a virtual ghetto, which is turning more and more into a virtual sewer, a sewer where all people do is fling feces at each other instead of trying to build a foundation where they can create a higher standard for their community and present themselves as role models for everybody to look up to, especially the young brothers and sisters out there, and show them a way to take this great tool and use it towards building up a better black community, building up a better black family, and showing an example of what black people can do when you give them the tools to enrich themselves and build wealth. Because all most black men and black women have, and especially black men have, is time. And if you're sitting there with time, you can take that resource of time and with next to no money, go out here and go on one of these online platforms and build yourself up. But many black males, because they have a negative perception of self and a negative perception of their world, instead of them trying to take this tool to build themselves up, they go out here and build a virtual ghetto that is just like the ones many of them came from. If you'd like to try some of my SJS Direct publications, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the Spinsterella trilogy, and many of my other positive black books and my men's issues books, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com in the description box. And if you want to help me make more videos like this, or more book videos about comics, science fiction, or fantasy, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, and my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella. Discover the dark side of love in this goth and lovely romance with Spinsterella. Get Spinsterella in paperback and e-readers at your favorite online bookseller today.